Recycling will be available for Minot residents in just about a month from now. It raises the question of where the items collected will be sent. The Minot City Council recently secured a 2-year transport contract for the city's recyclables to Minnesota for $91,000. Jason Sorensen, Utilities Director, says other updates include finishing up construction at the transfer facility. He says the only other piece left is waiting for less than 13,000 containers, which will arrive in residential areas in early July. The first 2 months will be free of charge.
There's a lot of people that complain about not having enough garbage collection. So now you have 2 carts. So give it a try.
He says apartments and duplexes would need to opt in for this program. Recycling collection will begin July 17th.